A little over 2 hours ago, as the crew members began their final preparations for the Soyuz vehicle and its upcoming undocking, they had a moment to gather at the hatchway to the Soyuz spacecraft in the Poisk module, again, the module to which the Soyuz TMA-04M docked back on May 17th. The Poisk module is the space-facing module and docking port on the Zvezda service module. Sunny Williams and Malenchenko and Hoshide, their Soyuz vehicle, the O-5M spacecraft, is docked to the Rosviet module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. About 2 hours ago, the crew members had an opportunity to say farewell to one another. So let's roll that tape of the activities that occurred at about 12:30 p.m. Central Time today. You see Williams, Hoshide, and Malenchenko saying farewell there to Sergei Revin, and Akaba and Gennady Padalka will float into the field of view. Those particles you see were identified by the Environmental Systems Officer as dust particles. That's not uncommon. It's just that the light in the module at this time illuminated those dust particles. You see the off-going Commander Padalka hugging the new commander of the space station, Sunny Williams, who will, along with her crewmates, have control of the International Space Station until they come home on November 12th. Padalka waving goodbye. The crew actually entered the Soyuz vehicle to begin a series of switch configurations in advance of the actual closing of the hatches to the spacecraft.
Do you see
this view now from a camera on the Soyuz vehicle? You can see the crosshair docking target on the right side of the screen. This also providing informational data for the Russian flight controllers as they will watch the Soyuz back away from the Poisk module. About 1 minute away from physical separation of the two vehicles.
And we confirm that the screen 1 is off.
The International Space Station flying just south of Nairobi, Kenya.
Copy.
Skirting up the east coast of Africa.
Yes, we see it on the trainer, so now we're going to restart so we can see the SSVP. Copy.
Padalka, Revin, and Akaba launched on a warm, sunny morning from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan back on May 15th. Arrived at the International Space Station 2 days later, now about to depart for the final time. Physical separation confirmed.
Yes, the SSVP mode has been restarted, so you should see it on the camera.
Undocking occurring on time at 6:09 p.m. Central Time over Nairobi, Kenya.
So we removed the contrast. Now we can see the brightness. Now we can see the target very well. Do you see any foreign objects on the interface of the docking mechanism? We do not see it per the display. We see the target very well and the structural elements. Copy. So are we selecting the narrow lens? We can see the target very well. Gennady, you need to select a narrow lens.
Slowly backing away from the Poisk module at a rate of about 1/10
need to
of a meter per second.
activate the brightness before we send the command for the special lens.
2 minutes from now, there'll be a separation burn, a 15-second firing of the Soyuz engines to increase the opening rate.
So we have selected the narrow angle lens. Now we can see the picture on the ground. 02-10-30, we can see all the structural elements very well and the target. Copy. We have selected DPO-B. Copy.
Expedition 33 now has officially begun under the command of Sonny Williams, joined by Yuri Malenchenko and Aki Hoshide aboard the International Space Station. They'll be tending to the station as a 3-person crew for the better part of a month.
Elements are visible, but we do not see the target any longer, so it's difficult for us to judge where it is. Copy. I can see the antenna. Copy.
Standing by for the separation burn. This will be a
now we can
half a meter per second change in velocity. Again, a 15-second burn of the Soyuz engines that will enable the Soyuz to drift away from the International Space Station to an eventual distance of 12 kilometers for the deorbit burn that is scheduled at 8:56 p.m. Central Time. And the separation burn is underway, confirmed by the visiting vehicle officer.
Copy.
Padalka, Revan, and Akaba bidding farewell to the complex that has been their home for 123 days.
Copy. So now we are maneuvering to the larger diameter, so we'll have a better view. Copy. Please continue your comments on the range. Yes, we can still see the station. We are getting a stable photo, or rather video. Copy. We see the large diameter very well. 50 meters we can.
And once again, the final moments of the descent of the Soyuz spacecraft under its chute. You can see one of the Russian search and recovery helicopters that will land within seconds after touchdown. And standing by for touchdown. And touchdown confirmed. The soft landing engines firing. The touchdown has occurred at 9:53 p.m. Central Time, 10:53 p.m. Eastern Time, just north of Arkelik, Kazakhstan. Gennady Padalka, Sergei Revin, and Joe Akaba back on Earth. You can see the glare of the early morning sunlight on Monday morning at the landing site in Kazakhstan, where the temperature is in the low to mid 60s. A cloudless sky. A Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center photographer peering inside the open hatch to the Soyuz vehicle. And there's our first view of Gennady Padalka, the Soyuz commander, veteran cosmonaut, as he sits in the bright sunshine of a Monday morning, having completed his 4th flight into space in 711 days, making him the 4th most experienced space traveler in history. Second crew member now out, and that would be Sergei Revin, we believe. The crew members who are situated in the left and right seats of the descent module take a few more minutes to extract than the commander, who is a straight shot out of the center seat through the hatch. And we are awaiting the extraction of Joe Acaba. And here comes Joe Acaba as a flight engineer out of the Soyuz spacecraft, completing his second flight into space, 13 days aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery in March of 2009 on the STS-119 mission, now home after 4 months aboard the International Space Station.
Hi, Lisa. How are you? That's great, thank you.
Santa's here to help you.
There's a unique shot. We're watching Gennady Padalka signing his name to the Soyuz TMA-04M. Josh, the next time you do this in November, landing for Sonny Williams, Aki Hoshide, and Yuri Malenchenko will be just after sunrise in November. I don't think it's going to be quite as warm. As the crew is making their way inside the medical tent, information is always wonderful to come by, and from a variety of sources, we find out that the signing of their names on the spacecraft unique to this particular landing, because this spacecraft is going to be moved to the Shalkovsky Museum in Kaluga, Russia. The Shalkovsky Museum named after the father of Russian spaceflight, Konstantin Shalkovsky. So a very unique and historic moment for this crew to have the privilege of signing their names to their spacecraft that brought them home.